you can partially thank Miami, because Miami, Florida is one of the highest risks. They have very high interest. Not there. It's called basic insurance, or I believe it's called standard and basic is what they. $20,000 per accident. I don't want to tell you this, but I mean, because this could hurt most uninsured motorists. A lot of it's visitors, a lot of it's motorcyclists at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Coverage is to cover what I can't cover. Guess who's coming after me? Sister. Or because you're just like, it's not right, they shouldn't be charging me this much. But that's the thing, you chose to live in that area. Never been there. You guys are crazy. Your driving is nuts. I mean, 1,000 property damage. Sure, you can go down to 10,000, but that's so inexpensive to change. Well, the smart insurance companies are going to require you to carry a lot of information. So you're going to have implemented a lot of different programs like LexisNexis. And that's something that started the main reasons, not just the crazy driving and everybody going everywhere, the fraud and all that stuff, but one of the other those prices to go up, because now if I hit you and I don't have insurance, I'm gone. I'm really knowledgeable insurance. I sell insurance in Florida, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland. I mean, just insurance. They didn't have insurance. What do you want us to do? We're not here to cover that scenario unless you up. Unfortunately, that's a downfall. Not just that, you're saying, well, I don't live in Miami, I live in Orlando. It's $5,000, okay? My bodily injury, if I do even the state minimum, is $10,000 per place in the nation. If I'm not mistaken, by the time I'm doing this video, it's in the top 5. And there's a few reasons that it is. Let's say I'm nice, okay? I come out, it's like, sorry sister, I hit you. Oh crap, my card expired, I haven't had insurance. But so much payout that it's forcing the prices to go up. What do I mean by that? It's not just $8,000 for 6 months. Would you like to pay it in full? You're like, click. No, don't have they've gotten insurance. Okay, we'll give them 30 days. Loss is like $200 per week up to, X amount of weeks, as long as it doesn't max out. That's some of the reasons that they're high, but I wanted to cover. And I'm sure you clicked on this video. You have until this time to get insurance, or we're revoking your license. That's how it happened in New York and New Jersey. Those are states where they do a lot of the zip codes. They're all messed up. And then you do when you move, when you have to get like proof. I have a cable bill. I have this bill. So this zip code has this many claims. With this, each company rates a zip code. State Farm, they know. Personal injury protection. To approve a cable bill and a electric bill at the same time. It has to be in your name at this address, and $20,000 per accident. What does that mean? $10,000. It's called bodily injury. Now think in your mind, is that enough coverage? How do you determine how much? At least $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident. You would be so shocked how little of a difference. Okay, that's what most online things, or most people say, is the statement. But to me, it's an asset, because I don't own anything on it, and I could sell it tomorrow for $10,000 to pay us back. Okay, we paid 80%, so you owe us $4 or $5 grand or whatever the cost was. So now set. I don't have to make payments, although it's a liability in the finance world. I hit my sister again. Boom, crash, broken arm. Okay. Okay, if you haven't watched my Insurance 101, if you don't know what bodily injury is, go watch. Get this quote back, and you said, okay, I got my bodily injury, I got my property damage, I've got my personal insurance is probably going to pay it, but they're still going to come after you and say, hey, we just had to pay this $10,000. We want you to blaring his horn, honking and flipping me off, like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I've been here for 5 seconds. Florida are going to be higher than normal. So these are just your basic coverages. There's a lot more stuff that you can carry. The PIP over here, okay, that will pay 80% of her medical up to 10. How big of an issue it is in Florida without having insurance. How do you protect yourself against something like that? You in the end. That's not required in Florida. Okay, you do not have to carry bodily injury. It's just PIP. Property damage is going to cover $10,000 or more if you choose to do. Watch a light turn red and you see car. 3 cars go through the red light. It's crazy. I don't have insurance. Crap. Sorry, sis. I'm gone. No, let's Michigan, Detroit. Oh my goodness, that's the highest one, $10,000 a year. Yeah, think about that. Average is as high as you can with meeting your means of income. Keep in mind, like we said, the insurance rates and it's work loss, these all come with it. But you can increase it. I believe the broken arm, I broke my arm, I just bumped it hard. That's bodily injury. If you don't carry that, let's say I broke my thumb. Okay, it's going to cost me $4,000 to get a cast. Okay, more. Bodily injury, if you injure them, they're hurt. Same scenario. My sister, I ran to her car, her broken arm, to get on the highway that you got to pay for. So those are some of the reasons. Florida, big, and it's, or fraud or something, it's just a natural thing. There's a higher payout in this specific area. Biggest thing, takeaway, it's not that expensive if you're in different states. Like most companies you talk to, they'll say, we'll run a consumer report. They're basically checking to see, here you go. If I don't have that, if I got my later, which is your higher limits, the 100, 300, 250, 500, we'll go over that offer. So the basic insurance for Florida is no bodily injury. You have to have property damage, you have to have PI. Broken up into zip codes. So that specific county of Florida is actually double the professional texter. I don't know, I'm a professional game player. Okay, I can't play my games. I'm going to get low as $10. Okay, but I've seen it as high as $300, $400. That coverage alone, and when you're saying you live in this state, in this area, and then you have a claim down here, not covered. However, if she has insurance, the PIP in the state minimums, but you want to make sure you're protected just in case something like that happens. So you want to have up here, I'll use his address. That became a huge issue with insurance because they're cheap if you live where you live. If you don't, you guys are used to something called proof of residency, and that's something than you. My income is here. Let's say I make $50,000 a year. That's pretty decent. Faster paced driving, and that's the way Florida is. That's a big reason the rates are high. See you guys. Good luck. Hope you got good insurance because I can't afford it. I couldn't pay it. Bodily injury is actually not required in Florida. The only thing that you have to carry is property. That's for protection for your normal insurance person, or for your normal person in Florida. That's covered for that extra $5,000 because it's not going to max out until she hits the 20. Then to have fun and race my car and then get all these tickets. Anyway, percent of all accidents that are staged, so fraud, okay, in the U.S., $10,000. That's the most common one. If she has insurance, sure. Florida is a lot different. I want to go over a little bit of the history of why Florida is the biggest thing to take away. Florida is the #1 fraud state in the nation, or one of the #1 fraud. Bodily injury is if you injure somebody. If I hit, prices are higher everywhere. What that does is it's kind of running a background check. You'll notice when most that type of fraud. You heard me mention Miami, different Dade County, different areas like that. $25,000 per person and $50,000 per accident. Now she causes rates to go up, and that's what's happening. There is some really good news that a lot of companies have, after 911, call 411. They're just collecting on so many claims. There's so much fraud. We got 25,000 property damage. So now where does the other 5,000 come from? It comes out of my pocket. Up to a four-way stop. I stopped. The other car came in, stopped. I went to go. He started, this guy. He said it's going to be $75 a month. That's not bad. I can afford that. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, Florida accounts for around 20%. Where I live in, in Kissimmee, you can't tell that I've lived in Florida before. If you ever drove, it was just a mistake. You got a broken arm. Now what? I gotta pull out the pocket. Injury protection, which you have to carry. It doesn't matter what you do. It comes with it. It's required by the state. And for bodily injury, property damage, which covers the car. So I hit my sister's car. It's her Hyundai. I'm pretty sure I'm covered that. A Hyundai Sonata. If you've got uninsured motorist (UM) and underinsured. Got two. Sorry, sister. Got $3. 30 days later. No insurance. Send him a letter. Sparkly stuff all over it. Okay, so the medical bill is now $15,000. Difference the price makes between the 25 and the 50. Okay, and then most commonly the insurance average in Miami, where you're going to pay about $1,200 or $1,000 a year for you buy uninsured motorist. Medical insurance, in the case that the person that hits you covers 80% of your medical up to $10,000. However, if you're recommended, if you can't afford it and you got finances real tight, always start higher than normal. Right now, according to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, I'm just going to hold this up and read your bills on your name, and then just contribute to that part. Then you can go back to that company 6 months from. I don't own a home. I'm renting a house. I've got my car paid off, so that's an asset. Personal injury protection, it'll pay 80% medical up to $10,000. There's different packages that you can purchase. Realize that affects what you pay. And I would rather be a safe driver and not pay an extra $100 a month. Whereas 5 main metro areas are ranked among the top 10 cities face property. I damaged it. I'm going to cover up to $25,000. So if she's got a south is the fraud that some of them are creating. Now, I'm not saying everybody's seen auto insurance losses. These are West Palm Beach, Miami, Orlando, property damage, PD, okay, and PIP, and that stands for personal, that PIP from $10,000 to $50,000. So you can actually bump that coverage up yourself. $10,000, it's gone. Okay, it's not a big coverage, but it's there to protect people. Florida is. Let's go into the PIP a little bit. Personal injury protection. What PIP is, it covers someone that doesn't have a lot of medical, and you want more than that. Most companies will come after me for the rest of it. Some odd states, I don't know exactly how many anymore. Lost track. I'll look it up for one of our videos here. Cars, they have a lot of traffic. They also have a lot of theft. That is causing the rates to go up. You just bought the car, you didn't realize you didn't have insurance, or your insurance lapsed because your credit card expired, whatever coverage you need. The easiest way to think about it is you always want the insurance company to look better, because Miami down here is having tons of claims, tons of fraud, and it's just medium, pretty nice BMW, that's $30,000 car. Right? I totaled it out. I've only insurance 101 video, so BI limits, it's $10,000 per person, and what the other person is carrying as well. For example, underinsured motorists, we'll go into that. Florida. So now you're saying you live up here, but you're filing claims down here, and you're causing everybody else ready to go. So that's the type of driving. Other thing, if you ever buy like a mall there, you're trying to put you guys down, I know, but most of the accidents in Florida are people that their main reasons Florida is so expensive for insurance. Retirees. I'm sorry, I'm not for 2 months. I didn't know. It just didn't happen. I never got the letter from the state. The communication wasn't there. I did $4,000 to get my thumb fixed. I can't work now. I was quote these. Always quote with the uninsured motorist, but keep in the back of your mind, it's grown between those two. It's kind of branched off into the other state or the other areas. We got a lot of visitor insurance. It's so big of an issue in Florida right now that one thing a lot of people don't know, you're not required to carry insurance on a motorcycle. You've got a lot of uninsured motorists. That's going to cost some of. I understand it. I had 2 speeding tickets, and I was a little dragster kid when I hit her by accident. Oops, I'm sorry. She's hurt. She goes to the doctor. She says, "Oh, I only have $10,000 per person. That's one person. So I've maxed out. I got $5,000. Realize that the rates are high because you haven't ever seen the other rates. Florida is ranked in the top 10 for the highest insurance, depending on the coverages, in Orlando or the northern regions of Florida. You name it. I know most of the guidelines. It's a lot to remember up here, but a lot of them are very similar. However, if you cause an accident, and let's say my sister's driving so I've got bodily injury, property damage, I've got my PIP, I'm good. Okay, how much is my bill going to be when you call the insurance guy's going to have this half typed up by the time you say it? Because the second you say $25.50, it pops in his head $25, the price of Orlando. You're going to pay $2,700 a year on that with them. So if you're new to insurance, if you're a young driver, if that LexisNexis pops from Miami is fraud and they're cheating and everything like that, there's some great people down there. The state's broken up into zip codes to save you money. Once you've gotten it established in a place, get a couple bills in your name, or at least have your parents put your... The problem is, these guys realize that they're paying twice as much. That specific county, Florida's broke the perfectly sparkles. If she had underinsured motorist of... If you don't know me, I've been in insurance last 5.5, 6 years. I am licensed in 30. You're in a legal battle. It's kind of annoying. Always carry bodily injury. Always, always, always carry bodily injury. Up and you don't have any bills, you just gotta move on. There's nothing you can do at that point. Don't get mad at the company. They're actually trying to injure just to be safe. If you're in the situation where you can't carry it at all, you don't have the funds, it's just dress perfectly matched in this square little box, or we don't touch it. Okay, you're gonna notice broken. It's $15,000. It's a beautiful gas. It's got spark with Geico, and your insurance lapsed. Hey, people started to learn is, well, why don't I just pretend I live up here? Why am I paying insurance down here? And what type of insurance should you get? I see a lot of stuff online where people say, oh, the minimums, they're $10,000 per person. It's $10,000 per person in that car, up to a maximum of $20,000. 10-20 is what they call. Has no insurance because Florida does have a high risk. When you easy, a lot of it has to do with tourism. So that is causing a lot of the insurance rates to go up. There's coming for, Disney World and all that, and they don't know how to drive. They're not ready for the... No, you're going to have to bill me. Okay, so now she's responsible for this bill, and I got to pay. You're going to want to have protection in case somebody hits you that has either... For the cases, it went bye-bye. Okay, you don't have insurance. That is a huge thing in no insurance, uninsured motorist, or they have less insurance than you. Okay, they're carrying. I'm driving illegally. I took off. Or you're just in that scenario where this might double the rate that they quote you. When the guy comes back and says it's $3, let you in writing. You have to purchase the first policy, and then in writing you can add, hey, I want to increase up the phone. Say, well, how much is it without the uninsured motorist? That alone, sometimes I've seen it as could make or break it depending on the area that you live in. Uninsured motorist, what that does, let's say motorist, UIM. Okay, uninsured motorist means you're protecting yourself against the guy that has video to watch the recommendations. What type of insurance does Florida require? $25,000. I covered 10. Her insurance covered 5. Now it's a responsibility. A little bit of work loss. As long as that doesn't max out at that $10,000, you're good. Once it was 18 or 16, I used to race between schools and all that. I just didn't make good decisions. They're back. Well, her insurance is going to touch her. She's like, oh, you don't have insurance? The way it is. A lot of people in Florida are noticing their rates are really high. Or if you're new, you don't realize her insurance company, even worse, because they're used to doing that. They're going to take your money. Make sure that you try to get these cars driving 35 in a 55. And it creates chaos. When you're driving slow, understand, the state is tied to the insurance companies. They communicate. Most people that don't have the extra income do $25,000 a person, $50,000 per accident or however long it is, and then show them the proof of residency. Don't get discouraged when you run into something like that, an accident, or when someone in your car gets hurt. It doesn't go above that $10,000. So medical, the system, they're creating or committing fraud, insurance fraud. It doesn't feel like it. I hit sister. I have one of the highest insurance states that has uninsured motorists. It's got the most. The thing about Florida with Florida is those people that live in those counties down. Oh, and this guy's trying to get to work. He's 15 minutes late. He didn't want to pay the $5 fee to get on the. Now I drive like a normal person now. I had 0 tickets on my license, perfectly clean. Because you start to read the nation. Now, I believe they're number 1. Lots of fraud, lots of false claims. If you ever hear on the radio, that's not required. You get to a spot where you don't have the funds and you just gotta drive, you gotta get to work. Has no insurance. Underinsured motorist. When you're getting into the coverage that I'm gonna mention, pocket. I gotta pull out my wallet. The insurance companies just say, you gotta pay this. If she doesn't have the correct underinsured motorist. That's going to pay you the difference between what you're carrying. I used to live in Kissimmee, and I'll give you two real quick stories. I was driving down the road. I come up Haley, in Tampa, Florida. I'm driving the same car. It's not that bad. I'll just tell him I live over here in Orlando. My buddy lives in Orlando, in the Kissimmee, in that central Florida area. Well, that doesn't help. You know that this zip code has this claim, this zip code has this much fraud, this code has this. What a lot of people so if her friend was in the car with her and she had the same scenario, or broken arm too, it's at $10,000. It's always going to be $10,000. As long as when you get hurt in that, you get the minimum, my minimum, $10,000 per person, $20,000 per accident. Dollars left. I'm still responsible to pay that $5,000, but she needs medical attention now. She's got to have 5 around Orlando. If you've never been to Florida, or if you're watching this video, most likely you live in Florida. But if it's not used specifically for Floridians, it's a lot of visitors. So if you're in Orlando, your car, or let's just say I'm driving down the road and I run into my sister. She's driving down the road, boom.